OK, next, comedian James Acaster says that he believes that 2016 was the best year for music ever. In a new book, he highlights the work of Beyoncé, Kanye West and David Bowie's final studio album too. And if you needed convincing that 2016 really was the year in which music peaked, it was the year in which DJ Skillmaster's classic track Summertime was remixed. And of course, what most people don't realise, Martin, was that was actually filmed in Bognor, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Green screen.
It really does have a summery feel. It's a shame I can't say the same about the weather at the moment.
No, outside now, it doesn't know what to do, does it?
So you decided to give it a bit of a rejig, did you?
Oh yeah, we've got about several versions of it. Obviously, you try to hit each different market with it, but we've had dance mixers. And yeah, and they've all been great, you know, I love them. And when you hear someone else's touch on it as well, it's like, wow, I never thought of that. But yeah, really thoroughly enjoyed that track.
I think commercially as well, it really pays to have songs that have a sort of seasonal reference. I mean,
exactly.
Christmas songs make artists, and particularly the writers, an absolute fortune.
Yeah.
But to a lesser extent, summer songs as well, because if the weather gets nice, then radio presenters, or at least the radio presenters that still have the autonomy to play their own music, no pack drill, you know, they slot them on, don't they? So it's good for the artist.
Yeah, and like I say, it's happy, it's a feel-good track as well. So I always think every summer I can start playing it out there, and it's like, and it just sits in with all the other, in the summertime, you know, all the good happy vibe songs that come out of the summer, that sits in great with every one of them.
That's brilliant. I just hope it coaxes the sun to come out a little bit more. Of course, the way we buy music has changed so profoundly over the years, hasn't it? Because now, although vinyl has been coming back,
it's made a good comeback and all, hasn't
it? For a couple of years, it is more or less the download side of things. But I don't know, or maybe I'm just old-fashioned. That's the second time I've said that today. Blimey, I must be getting old. But there was something lovely about, even with a CD, although more so with vinyl, having the artwork, having, you know, to feel it, to touch it, to put it on your shelf. It's not the same as an MP3.
Exactly, but I remember buying all the records, obviously, as DJ that evening, and I'd be looking at the vinyl, reading all the information on the back, who wrote it.
And they were beautiful, some of them,
yeah,
weren't they?
and the artwork, and also there'd be a smell to the vinyl as well.
They did.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then, like you said, just the artwork, the whole feel, and then at the end of the day, just that joy of just taking it out the sleeve, putting it on, putting the needle on, and just listening to the.
And sometimes, you know, even if you still got a little bit of a crackle,
yeah,
there's something wonderful about that, wasn't it?
The only downside was if it had got a bit of a scratch, and when you get that, and then oh no, I've got to lift it up, move it on.
But when scratch came in, people used to do it on purpose, though, didn't they?
Well, I remember years ago, my mum used to have a little personal stereo hi-fi, you know, the basic one, and I'd be there when they're not looking. I put the needle on. Sorry, Mum, if you're listening, and I'd be giving it all this, trying to be like Grandmaster Flash.
I've still got a ghetto blaster. That's how old-fashioned I am. I carry it on my shoulder. Back in a few moments' time. I'm not joking. Well, finally today, a slow lane for people using their phone while walking has been built in part of Manchester. The lines have been painted by tech company AO. It says that 3 in 4 Brits have their eyes on the screen rather than the pavement. But would you welcome dedicated lanes for slow walking in knots, or are you one of the guilty masses? glued to your gadgets. Martin, I bet you're not. Are you one of the guilty masses glued to your gadgets?
No, I'm not. I mean, like I say, obviously, you know, I work at Squares and I have to go down Columbus Street and I often catch people on the mobiles. They don't walk in a straight line. No. They're all over the place
and
like
you've got
this.
The trams going ding,
yeah,
ding.
That's right. And at some point, I'm thinking they're just going to walk in front of a tram and it's going to big splat. They're just like that. They're not aware.
Straight under Torval and Dean.
Yeah, exactly.
Or Vicky McClure, or whichever one it happens to be. Yeah.
But they're not aware of what they're doing, are they, half of them? And it's a nightmare. So if there was a lane for them to travel on, I don't think they'd even stick in the lane.
People that walk slowly annoy me full stop.
Oh, definitely.
And it's not just a question of age, by all means. I'm not saying that at all. But I mean, tourists often do.
Yeah.
Because I'm not saying that we need our tourists here in Notts, don't we? But because they're looking around, they're not quite sure where they're going. But I just wish people would go in single file.
Yeah, they don't know,
It's when you've got a group of friends, right? You've got a trampoline park, and they're all spread out 3 abreast.
Yeah.
And it's like, why don't you move over?
And if they're carrying bags, they stop and they're taking most of the platform. And then as soon as you try to turn right, they move, and then someone else starts this end, and you just can't get. You'd think you would be able to, but you can't. It's a nightmare.
But again, it's one of those British things because we're so well mannered that we're just walking really, really slow, tutting under our breath as we go, rather than saying, "Excuse me, would you mind moving out of the way,
exactly.
please?"
But I sometimes think though, these with the mobile phones, you know, we do a thing called Tighten. It's like green cross code. You know, look left, look right. They need to go back to that again because if you've got a phone, you need to be aware of your surroundings. You can't just like do what they do at the moment. They need like an awareness course, you know, because they're crashing into everything, aren't they?
Do you know what they need to do? I don't think I should say this because it's actually a really good idea. I might patent it. They ought to have a little thing that clips on the top of your phone that's got mirrors on either side, so that
like a little bike.
Yeah, so that like they do on cash machines now. So you can see if there's anybody looking at your pin.
Yeah.
They should do that, and you can have a little thing on your phone with mirrors on. It'd be brilliant.
Or what about even if like they were reversing while they're still reading. It's mad, isn't it?
Well, we've gone from the sublime to the ridiculous. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Hey, same too.
Great to see you. And I'll see you tomorrow at 5:30, so have a good evening, won't you? We'll be back then. Bye-bye.